Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Y'all know who it is, man. It is your boy Darion of the Darion Hopkins Show, and we are on episode 25, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 25 is definitely in the building. Today is Friday, May 19th, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a great show, and I am ecstatic. I am ecstatic. I am better. I am great. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Darion Hopkins Show. And I'm your host, Darion of the Darion Hopkins Show. And we are here to inform you to give you 100% raw and uncut sports podcast. We keep it 100 right here from the live play-by-plays to the podcast to everything that's been going on with the Darion Hopkins Show. So I have to say, before we get into any topics today, I want to thank y'all for supporting the live stream last night. The live stream last night was amazing. The Lakers and Nuggets game, another great finish in that. And we're going to talk more about that Denver and Lakers game in a little bit. But before anything else, before we go into it, we have to shout out our sponsors on this podcast. Shout out to our sponsors and our affiliates in partnership with SeatGeek. If you like live events, concerts, sports, anything of that nature, make sure you go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code DHopkins and get $20 off your first purchase using our promo code. So if you go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code DHopkins, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. And shout out to Bet Us as well. Shout out to Bet Us because Bet Us, we are in partnership with them as well. And you will receive 125%, I'm sorry, y'all, of your sports book upon your initial deposit using the special offer with the link in the description. So like I said before, if you love to bet, if you love to do anything that's sports betting or esports or anything of that nature, make sure you get the special offer with the link in the description. It says it right there. Receive 125% of your sports book upon initial deposit using that special offer. So make sure you go to betus.com or use the link in the description so you can get up there and sign up and start betting and winning money. That's what you want to do there. So shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Dominique 5, what's going on? Shout out to the AJ Show. He came through today and showed some love. But we're definitely in the building real quick. Definitely in the building today. And we have a lot to talk about, man. And today is opening day. Opening tip-off of the WNBA. We have a few games going on today that I'm not going to talk about today, but I'm thinking about doing the Mercury and the Seattle Storm. They look like they're going to be playing today, so that's going to be something interesting to actually watch when it comes to the WNBA. More basketball, more stuff's going to be coming down the pipeline for the Darion Hopkins Show. If don't forget to become a member of the Darion Hopkins Show on the YouTube channel, because that's going to be for member live streams only and member chats. So it's only $2.99 to be a part of the D Hopkins Nation. Be a part of the D Hopkins Nation and become a member for $2.99. We will have member live stream chats and we're going to have member live chats as well, just for the members to able to comment only. So if we do have a live stream and you see that we don't see your comment, meaning that you're not a member. So $2.99 to have that, and more perks is going to come with that membership, with that all-in membership as well. So make sure you become a member of the Darion Hopkins Show and see what happens there, man. See what happens there. But let's get straight into it, man. Let's get straight into the nitty-gritty of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And that is it. The Denver Nuggets, ladies and gentlemen, the Denver Nuggets has defeated the Los Angeles Lakers to go up 2-0 in this series. But what a game. What an absolute game that the Lakers was up mainly majority of the game. But it was mainly back and forth for a little bit, probably like in that first half, and then that second quarter, the Lakers started to get their way in the way they wanted to get it at that time. The way they wanted to get it at the time. And Denver, Jamal Murray just rose from the dead for me. And I knew that the Lakers probably was going to win this game, but I didn't know Jamal Murray was going to snap like that. I had no clue in what way that Jamal Murray was just going to make shots just like that. Just like that. I didn't know. Like, I knew Jamal Murray was going to have a great game. Don't get me wrong, but I was not expecting him to have that type of game. But we're going to break it down and keep it short and simple on here until any of my co-hosts come up here. I know they're running late. They have lives. I completely understand. But we're going to get into the nitty-gritty because I want to get straight to the point. That's just me. I want to get straight to the point because I want to know what really happened with the Lakers last night. I really didn't look at any of the stats last night because I did the play-by-play and the reactions. But let's go to the team stats first. Let's definitely talk about the team stats first. So when it comes to this game, now the Lakers are 36 of 82 from the field, which Denver Nuggets was 39 of 89 from the field. The Lakers shot 43.9% last night to 43.8% against the Nuggets. So the field goal percentage was pretty high. Not pretty high, but it was pretty close between the two. So I can't really be mad at that percentage because they both was shooting pretty okay. Not too bad, but pretty okay. But this is the difference right here in this next stat. 3-point percentage. The Lakers was 8 of 30 last night. 8 of 30, while Denver was 14 of 38. The Lakers shot 26.7% to 36.8% for the Denver Nuggets. Now, free throws, the Denver Nuggets did not go to the free throw line that much. They were 16 for 18. Only went to the free throw line 18 times, where the Los Angeles Lakers went 26 times. They was 23 of 26. Rebounds. I'm surprised that the Denver Nuggets out-rebounded the Lakers by 9. 49 to 40. I was kind of surprised about that because in the first half, I seen the Lakers getting a lot of rebounds, and Denver really didn't have nobody under the basket to protect at that time. But it looked like it changed in the second half, but this was a close game at the end of the day. This was a close game. When it comes to assists, 27 to 26 assists, Denver only had one more assist than the Lakers. 10 steals for the Los Angeles Lakers and only 8 for the Denver Nuggets. And then you have 7 blocks for the Los Angeles Lakers and only 2 for the Denver Nuggets. Total turnovers. The Denver Nuggets has 17 turnovers. 17. And the Lakers had 12. And I'm surprised the Lakers even lost this game. But I'm going to tell you why they lost this game. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you why. Fast break points. 21 to 22. That was definitely identical there. And then you have points in the paint with 48 to 46. Lakers had more points in the paint than the Denver Nuggets. Fouls. 19 fouls to 18 fouls. 1 technical foul for the Denver Nuggets, which I didn't understand that technical foul. But hey, the largest lead was 12 for the Denver Nuggets, and the largest lead was 11 for the Los Angeles Lakers. This is what happened to the Los Angeles Lakers in this not even in the second half, because I thought they was competitive in that third quarter, even though the Nuggets was trying to come back. The Nuggets was trying to come back, and they was trying to climb back from the deficit that they had going into the halftime. And I said it on the live stream that I really don't care about the first 2 quarters because the first 2 quarters don't really set the tone for me. If it's close, if it's a close game, I'm going to make an initiative that, okay, who's going to win this game in the third quarter? That what really determines who wins this game. Who has a better run at the end of the third quarter? And for me, it was a controversial call at the end of the third. That really flipped the thing, really flipped the switch for the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, flip the switch for the Nuggets, in my personal opinion. But if you look at the goaltending call, I'm really kind of skeptical with the goaltending call. I was really kind of skeptical with the NBA refs all night with the calls that they were calling, and they really need to be looked at. They really need to be looked at to a point where that they need to get, the refs should be in a press conference. The refs should have something to say after the game on why these calls need to be called. They shouldn't even ever walk off the court without being questioned why that call was made. Like the flagrant foul on D'Angelo Russell. I didn't like that flagrant foul on D'Angelo Russell because how he was going to block the ball if he couldn't go across his face. So if you look at it in that instance, it was a lot of questionable calls last night. A lot that I was not a big fan of. I was not a big fan of any of these calls that they made last night. Little ticky-tacky fouls. This is the NBA playoffs. This is the conference finals. You're trying to go to the NBA championship. You're trying to go to the NBA finals, and y'all want to call these ticky-tack fouls, and these players are flopping and trying to do all stuff. Something have to change in the NBA. Because I said it on the live stream last night. The NBA is getting absolutely soft. It's getting soft. This is the playoffs. These are men amongst men. Stop asking for a little ticky-tack foul and flopping and trying to be the best actor to get an Oscar. Stop doing that. Simple as that, man. Stop doing that. I don't want to go too far and too deep into it because we got other topics that we need to talk about, but we want to go into the box score now of this game here because this game was like I said, it was a really good game. It was a really, really good game. Now, if you look at, man, let me tell you, it was a great game yesterday. It was a great game last night as well. But let's get into all the stats here from the Los Angeles Lakers side of things. If you look at it here, if you look at it from afar, it was only one person that wasn't in double figures. And this is why I have an issue with Vanderbilt starting. Because he's a liability on offense. He's a liability on offense. He only had 4 points. 4 points. Minus 10. I'm sorry, but Hachimura should have got the start last night. Hachimura plays both sides, from the offense to the defense. He was great last night. He was awesome, but the Lakers went away from him. The Lakers went away from him. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you how. Anthony Davis did not show up tonight. He did not show up last night. The inconsistency through this whole playoffs. Anthony Davis should have had a purpose of bouncing back from that 40-point game the other night. He only had 18, but he had 14 rebounds. But that's not enough against this Denver Nuggets team. And then you had LeBron James had to do what he had to do. He had 22, 10, and 9. LeBron James is going to put them numbers up regardless. But LeBron James, I got some questions for you about that third quarter. I got some questions for you about that fourth quarter as well. D'Angelo Russell only had 10. I'm not a big fan of D'Angelo Russell at all. I'm just not. I'm not a big fan of D'Angelo Russell. I just feel like he's kind of a liability as well on defense. He's okay on offense, but I think he acts a lot as well when he's trying to do that fadeaway shot away from the basket. I kind of hate that, but hey, viewers, it is what it is. It is what it is. Austin Reeves was amazing last night. He had 22 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds. But he was plus 13 from the field, which is not bad at all for Austin Reeves. But Rui Hachimura, man, that Ryu or however you pronounce his name, Hachimura should be in the starting lineup. I'm sorry to say. This guy has been playing lights out majority of this playoffs. Yeah, last round he probably struggled. But I like Hachimura in the lineup better than I like Vanderbilt. Because Vanderbilt, yes, he gives you great defense. Yes, he gives you great defense. He's going to lock down your best player. I understand that. But it's 4-on-5 when you have Vanderbilt in there. You don't have nobody else to go to if everybody else is not hitting their shots. And Hachimura was 17 of 17 majority. He was 8 of 10. 8 of 10. He only missed 2 shots. So I don't understand how this guy, Vanderbilt, gets to start over him. I understand defense turns into to offense. I understand all that. But this man was 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He had 21 points off the bench. Where the rest of the bench didn't do nothing. Struder didn't do nothing. Lonnie Walker didn't do nothing. So I understand Hachimura has to come off the bench because he's the only scorer. But I think Hachimura deserves a start in this series some way, somehow. Now let's go to the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets, again, had almost 5 people. All the whole starting lineup was almost in double figures here. Well, you had Aaron Gordon with 10. He had 4 rebounds, which I would have probably thought he would have had more. And then you have Hold up. And then you had Michael Porter Jr. that came on in the second half with 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Then you had Jokic. Jokic had a quiet game last night. He had a quiet game, and I'm not really mad at it because he played well, but he had a quiet game, but he still came up with a triple-double with 23, 17, and 12. Joel Embiid, you better take some notes, bro. Joel Embiid, you better take some notes, bro. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because Joel Embiid needs to learn that this guy does a triple-double after triple-double after triple-double, man. So 23, 17 rebounds, and 12 assists. From a big man, you better tighten up your arsenal, bro. You better tighten up your arsenal, man. Jamal Murray, 37, 10, and 5. That man played the whole second half. He didn't sit down not once. The only time he sat down, during the timeout. That man was in desperation of them to go up 2-0. Desperation. Caldwell Pope didn't have a great game. He had 8 points. He was the only one that didn't get in double figures in his starting 5. But Bruce Brown was another guy that came off the bench, gave you 12 points, gave you 5 rebounds and 3 assists. And he's quick. Even though I'm not a big fan of Bruce Brown, I'm not a big fan of him because he yap all the time. But I'm fine with that. I see why he does it. So when it comes down to it, yeah, Bruce Brown looks good. He looks good in this series so far. So it swings back to LA, and they're up 2-0, winning 108-103. And it's going to be a great series. Now, how the Lakers will bounce back? Because I know I heard on the TV yesterday that LeBron James has a winning record when he's down 2-0. When his team is down 2-0. So looking at it from that aspect, okay, cool. I'm down 2-0. We're going to go back to LA. You cannot let Denver get one in LA. You can't. But for me, for a team to win a series like this, you have to win at least one game on the road. And that's when the series actually starts. When somebody wins on the road. But the question is, can Denver win on the road? Or can they not win on the road? It's a possibility that they can. They only got one win on the road this whole playoffs. Well, 2. They beat them in Minnesota and they beat them in Phoenix. Can they get at least one win in LA? Because both of these teams are undefeated. Both of these teams are undefeated at home. So can the Lakers fall, or can the Lakers try to push this to be 2-2 going back to Denver? It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. But like I said, man, make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man. It is the Darion Hopkins Show. And we're going to show y'all a commercial from Bet Us, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Bet Us. You receive 125% of your sports book upon your initial deposit. So make sure you go to betus.com and go to the link in the description and go check that out, man. It's Darion Hopkins Show. Let's go.
Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the table. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
Make sure y'all check out betus.com. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all check out betus.com and make sure y'all get that initial deposit on there as well. So that was definitely dope. But let's get into it today, man. Let's get into it today with some more NBA news about Erik Spoelstra. Now, Erik Spoelstra said something yesterday that I was really intrigued with. Now, I was not a big fan of the play-in. I wasn't a big fan of the play-in. I was not. And he's saying that this is the best thing in the past decade. So how do y'all feel about the play-in? Because I would love to hear from y'all in the chat. I would love to hear from y'all that's listening somewhere, anywhere. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or you're listening anywhere of that nature. But How do y'all feel about Erik Spoelstra saying that this is the best thing for the NBA in the last decade? How do y'all feel about that? Because I want to play a clip. I want to play a clip for y'all, and I'm trying to see if this thing is going to actually work. So just give me 1 second here. But I want to know what y'all think about what Erik Spoelstra had to say here, because I'm really not sure how I feel about the play-in, but I like the play in some ways. Oh darn! Oh, hold on. Sorry, y'all. I have to pause this real quick and go back to ESPN. I don't know what was that on my phone, but don't mind me. Don't mind me, man. I'm gonna try to cut that out as much as possible. But let me try to do this real quick. We try to do this real quick for y'all. Okay, so let me see if I could close this out. Okay, yep, I could close that out. And I'm gonna go right back to it here. And this is what he had to say, y'all. Let me see if they go play an ad first. Let me see. Because you know how ESPN does. They play their little advertisements first before anything. So I really want to hear what Erik Spoelstra has to say in the situation. So yes, they are going to play an ad at this moment. And make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, man. I'm waiting for my co-hosts to come up here. And they talk as usual. But hey, we're here for it, and we're gonna have a good time on this show, the 25th episode of the Darion Hopkins Show. I'm just waiting for, I don't know what's the hold up here. If not, then I'm just gonna have to try to find it somewhere else or just read it. All right, so I don't know what's happening here. So Erik Spoelstra says the best thing for the NBA in the past decade was the play-in. Now, as the number 8 seed for the Miami Heat, right? They continue to make a run through this Eastern Conference Finals. They've been really, really good in these Eastern Conference Finals. And Erik Spoelstra reiterated in saying that how important it felt that the regular season was forming into a mental toughness thing. And they are 3 games away from getting to another finals, NBA finals, if they could beat Boston. That's a big if. The midst of this description, Spoelstra made another important regarding the NBA play-in tournament. Now, this is according to ESPN. I just want to let y'all know this is according to ESPN. It says that I don't know. I do know that the play-in helped, according to Erik Spoelstra said on Thursday. There is far less teams tanking. Everyone is fighting for it in the last 2 months. Every game is a must-see TV, and I was in both conferences. So I think for the league, it's probably the best thing that happened in the last decade. The Heat that took a 1-0 lead over the Boston Celtics over a 123-116 game victory on Wednesday night and became the first play-in team to ever win a playoff series after defeating the number 1 seed in the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. Los Angeles Lakers, who earned a spot in the Western Conference Final, became the second team knocking off the number 2 seed, the Memphis Grizzlies, in the first round. So for me, I have to agree in some sorts, because at first I did not know how big the play-in was. I did not understand how the play-in worked. Now I kind of understand how the play-in worked, and I think this is good for the NBA, because now you have teams that's in the 9th seed, the 10th seed, the 7th seed. They could all be knocked off. It reminds me of a college basketball tournament. It calls the NCAA tournament. It reminds me of that in some sorts. But when you lose, you out for the NCAA. When you lose, you still have another chance to get into the playoffs after you lose your first play-in game. Or you just win and they're out. Or you win or you win. So it's a little bit more different than with the NCAA tournament, because that's a round of 64. You got 7, 8, 9, and 10 trying to play for a play-in spot for those last 2 slots. So that is really difficult to try to explain, but I don't have no issue with the play-in. I think the play-in makes it more competitive for the NBA. It gives other teams a chance to try to jump into that 8th seed or that 7th seed. Because if Miami would have won their first game against Atlanta in Miami, we would have saw Boston versus Miami in the first round instead of Atlanta. So think about it. So you got to think about it in that notes. Like, yo, that would have been the matchup in the first round. But the fact that Miami lost in Miami and they had to go to Chicago and win on the road just to get into a play-in, listen, Miami needed what needed to be done. But I kind of agree with Erik Spoelstra here. It gives it a little more excitement with a play-in for the NBA to get those last two slots. Those last two slots should not be guaranteed. Should not be. Even though you might have a better winning record in the regular season, doesn't mean you deserve to be in there. Because most of the time, if you look at HCs, they don't make it this far. HCs get swept or lose in 5 games majority of the time. If we look at the history of the NBA, the 1 seed always comes out on top. But the NBA has changed. Because I think for what I remember, Miami was like the 9th or 10th seed or something like that. And they lost to Atlanta. They lost to Chicago. They lost to Atlanta. They beat Chicago. Got in. They knocked off the Milwaukee Bucks. They knocked off the New York Knicks. And now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the same thing for the Los Angeles Lakers. The same thing. And if you look at how the Lakers did it, the Lakers, they was when they was in. They won their first playoff play-in and beat the Timberwolves. And that was it. They was in. And look how far they made it. I think it's a storyline for I don't want to call it like I see. I don't want to call it, but the storyline is building up to Miami and Lakers rematch from the bubble. I know everybody want to see Boston and Lakers for that 17th championship. I understand that. But look at these play-in stories. We've never really seen these two. We've never seen these two win a play-in game. Miami was the first to do it. The Lakers was the second to do it. So when it comes to these play-in games, why not have them in the championship? Why not? Why not have them in the championship? But everybody wants Boston and LA because of the history and the rivalry of that. And they both have 17 championships. I get it. But the question is, if the Lakers would have lost and Miami Heat would have lost, we would have, what championship would we be looking at if they wasn't in the playoffs? Be honest. If it wasn't a play-in tournament, if it wasn't, we wouldn't see the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and we won't see the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's just be completely real. We probably be seeing a different team or something of that nature. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So thank the play-in for the Lakers being here, and thank the play-in for the Miami Heat being here. Because I don't care about defensive rankings. I don't care about offensive rankings. If you look at the seeding and the playoffs would have ended, Miami wouldn't have been there and LA wouldn't have been there. They both would have been sitting home if it wasn't no play-in tournament. But that's why I like the play-in tournament. You bring the underdogs as the underdogs. And right now, Miami's not really an underdog and LA's not really an underdog. But would we like to see a bubble rematch of the Lakers in the Miami Heat and then Tyler Herro's able to come back by the finals? I think that'll be very intriguing. But of course, the main consensus is going to say, "Oh, I want to see Lakers in Boston Celtics. I want to see them." Oh, go ahead, see them. Go ahead and see them then, because of course, who's going to have more championships than the other? Understand that it would be a boring finals if you saw the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. At least it's two different teams instead of the same teams over and over. So basically, I like it. I like the play-in. I like what Erik Spoelstra had to say about the play-in. I thought it was smart that, they brought the play-in into the NBA. To me, it just brought more excitement. It brought more excitement into it. So for me, I had to look. I liked it. I like the play-in, and I think the play-in is a smart thing to do for the NBA because, like I said before, at the end of the day, we would not be seeing a Los Angeles Lakers in these playoffs or a Miami Heat if it wasn't no play-in. Simple as that. Simple as that, man. So make sure y'all hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel, man. It's the Darion Hopkins Show, man. We are here. We are a half hour into the 25th episode of the Darion Hopkins Show. The 25th episode of the show. And you know what? I gotta take some limelight and say this, because when I decided to revamp this channel, I wanted to have a different perspective on different things. I wanted to be about entertainment or just about sports, but I've learned the entertainment part is not really my thing. In 25 episodes in, even though I'm doing this by myself right now, I started this podcast by myself before I even had co-hosts. So I don't mind being in front of a camera by myself, talking to myself about sports that I love to do. I never thought I would get to 25 episodes of a show. I never think that I would be this far into the journey of where I want to be in podcasting, sports podcasting at that. I know sometimes I get into a little debates and stuff of that nature, but 25 episodes of the Darion Hopkins Show is only going to grow. It's only going to grow. And I am excited. I am ecstatic that I am at my 25th episode. Because a lot of podcasters don't make it to 25 episodes. They get to about 5 episodes and quit. Yeah, I took some layoffs in some purposes there. I took some layoffs. But one thing I didn't do is give up. I didn't quit. So 25 episodes in to the Darion Hopkins Show. It's just been an amazing ride. And we're getting things done over here. And we have more. When we get to that 50th episode, that's when we go talk more. When we get to that 30th episode, which is 5 episodes later, which will be next Friday, we'll have some talks, man. We'll have some talks. But my boy Mac is in the building.
What's up?
What's going on?
Yeah, working hard.
Oh yeah, you working hard. All right. So I know I'm only playing with you. It's all good, man. It's all good. So I was talking about only got into 2 actual episodes, 2 actual topics as of right now.
Okay.
I talked about it on the play-in with Erik Spoelstra said that it was the best thing that happened for the NBA in the past decade. And I stated that I really agreed on that, because I said it before, like Miami Heat was the first team to be to win a play-in game and go further in the playoffs, and the Lakers was the second team to do it. So the storyline that everybody wants to see is Lakers in Boston in the finals they both tied at 17 for the championships. They both are trying to get their 18th ring. And that's what the setup of the finals that everybody wants to be. But people fail to forget.
How funny would it be the Heat and the Nuggets?
It would be funny, but I was just thinking, like, okay, he says the best thing that ever happened for the past decade for the play-in. And I have to agree, because just imagine if the Lakers if Miami beats Boston and the Lakers come back and beat Denver. We have the bubble rematch, plus the way they got to the playoffs, being in the play-in. I think that storyline is bigger than me, in my opinion, because now the Lakers, if they beat Miami in the finals, right? Oh, everybody's going to talk about, oh, that bubble was not a fluke. That bubble was this, that bubble was that. So for me, I understand people want to get the 18th championship for their franchise and stuff like that. But I feel like that's more of a bigger story for me coming in from the play-in. The Lakers being ranked? They was ranked 12, 13 or something like that. They moved up and got into the 10th seed and end up winning I don't know how they got there, but I know the Miami was the 10th seed. I know they were. They lost. Then they won a second play-in game to get in to get their 8th seed. But I just like the storyline of that, in my opinion. So I think the play-in is a good thing so far.
I mean, it proves that it brings value to the game. It also brings viewers, and you're bringing more games to the table. So at the end of the day, more fans are getting to see their teams make the playoffs, and that makes more money and more revenue for teams. So I mean, it's a win-win for across the board. You know, I 100% agree because again, like you said, there's two teams in the final four right now that wouldn't be there if not for it.
And that's exactly what I just stated. Like if it wasn't no play in, Miami and the Lakers would be sitting on their couches right now. Sad but true. Sorry, Laker fans. Sorry to my Heat culture. I'm just telling the facts. I'm just telling the facts. Like both of these teams would not be here if it wasn't for a play-in. So you got to congratulate the NBA for putting this play-in, initially having it every year now, because they was like making it a temporary thing. But I think you should keep this around for now, in my opinion.
Absolutely, there's no reason to get rid of it. In the first year, it's already proven its value. Right. So it's only the value of the play-in is only going to go up from there because now teams are like, oh, so there's another way to get into the playoffs. So we don't just need to win the division. We just need to play well till we get to that point to where maybe we can get into the play-in. Yeah. And that, like I said, that's a big boost for a lot of teams. And it's going to make a lot of teams want to play harder, especially in the end of the year when you see a lot of teams kind of go into cruise control.
And it makes it more money for the NBA as well as an organization. So as a league in itself, it brings in more viewers, it brings in more money, it brings in more revenue, and it just helps those guys that gets overlooked on teams get the notoriety that they got. Like even Hachimura, imagine if Hachimura wasn't in the playoffs. Like we know Hachimura was a great player in Washington. We knew that, but he wouldn't have been in the playoffs right now. He's putting on a hell of a playoff run right now to a point where, listen, I don't know what his contract situation is, but hey, listen, he's making teams look at him like, listen, we should have traded for him instead of the Lakers going to get him. And you look at it from
real shit. Absolutely, I 100% agree with you, and that's what I'm saying. Like the playoffs can either bring out the worst in basketball players or the best in basketball players.
Right.
And I'm for all for it either way, because let's see what everybody's made of in the playoffs. Let's see what the top teams really can do. And the whole thing is, like I said, no play-in, no Lakers. And look what the Lakers have done.
Right.
Same thing with Miami Heat. Like, I again, you know how I am. Yes, I will root for a team, but I root for a good basketball game regardless.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, and that's how I am. As long as the game is good, to me, it doesn't matter because it was entertaining and it was fun to watch. Yeah, it's fun to root for your teams, but if the product isn't good, it doesn't matter whether your team wins or loses. If your team wins by 30 points every game, is that really a fun game to watch?
No.
I
mean, we'll be excited that our team won, but it wasn't entertaining to watch because the other team was not competitive. So
yeah, so that's what it is. Like, as much as we all like blowouts, if every game was a blowout, it's not entertaining. By the fourth, how many viewers do you really think you're gonna have?
You ain't never lie, because look at my play-by-plays. When the games are good, the people show up. If the game ain't that good, they show up, but they leave out because it's not entertaining. And knowing me on a play-by-play, if the game is boring, then I'm bored.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I did that one time too. I did that one time where the matter of fact, I think it was game 6. It was game 6 of the Suns and Nuggets game. And the Nuggets was dog walking them in game 6. I turned the game off at the end of the third quarter. Live stream. I'm not going to sit through this. I'm just not. There's no point in me doing a play-by-play with that team knowing that they on a base of elimination and lose the way they lose.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just happy that they've all been competitive games because that's what I want. I want to watch something that's entertaining, and like you said, if it's not, it's not good for business.
It's not good for business at all.
Did I call that or what? I said at 8:40 in the chat, I was like, it's going to be a 5-point Nugget win. And it was literally 5-point Nugget.
I think you said it on the show yesterday as well, though. Yeah. I think you said it on the show.
I believe I did, but I knew it was going to be back and forth. And I said at the beginning of the game, it was going to be five or more, or definitely 5 or more lead changes throughout the game. And there was. and it was just like it was a great game. It's how I expect these guys to play on a regular basis, especially in the playoffs.
And listen,
But I will say
I have to. I look. I
I
just
don't
don't.
to be Nuggets win in LA. I fully think that the Lakers are going to win both LA games.
I don't know because I really think this series starts. To me, this series starts if somebody gets a win on the road. I think this series, whoever wins this series, they get the win on the road. I don't know. I really feel like the Lakers, they undefeated at home, and so is Denver. Both of which I found out that Denver was undefeated at home. I didn't know that. I thought the Suns got one win on the road, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really going to come down to who's going to get a win on the road. You have to get a win on the road because if not, this is going to be a game 7. And if the Lakers want to go back to Denver in a game 7, I don't think that's the best idea if the Lakers want to try to win this series. I don't think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
So
no,
somebody got to win one game on the road, at least one.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think somebody might, but like I said, I know it's going to come down to 7 games. Like both of the series are. These are two highly competitive teams that can literally turn it on at any time during any game, and that's why it's like nobody's going to have a complete dog walk of a game. Nobody's going to I don't see either one of these teams truly blowing out the other, unless you know what I mean by some like horrible shooting, horrible defense. Like you have to play a horrible game,
Right.
you know,
You have
on
to play a
offense
horrible game.
of the ball, and it has to be multiple players playing like shit. Other than
Right.
that, like it's going to be a highly competitive game. Yeah, they might go up 10 points. They might even go up 20 points. But all 4 teams have the capabilities of going down 20 and then going back up to make it a competitive game.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like last night, I just don't have anything to say about the Lakers at this point because I'm just like, y'all let
Look,
one
I
man,
will say this.
y'all let one man dominate y'all in the fourth quarter. Jamal Murray was lights out. Y'all had him shut down because he had what 14 through 3 quarters, and then
Yeah.
he didn't sit down the whole second half. The only time he sat down was during timeouts. That man was gassed and putting on a show with
Yep.
23 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, like that comes down to coaching and the dog in Murray. Like I mean, it was that it's completely on him, and I'm happy, and it shows that you can step up and you can do what you need to do.
And what's crazy about it is that even though Jamal Murray had a great game with like 37, Jokic still had 23, 17, and 12 in
Yeah.
a quiet way. In a quiet way. So, and then
Well,
KCP didn't play well. Michael Porter still had double figures. You still had 5 of the 5 players in double figures for the Denver Nuggets, no matter if it was a starting 5 or not.
yeah. But I mean, again, it was a super defensive heavy game. It was a lot of good and bad matchups. It was a lot of back and forth, and that's why I'm like, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, and it's going to be a great series, man. It's going to be a great series, and now Denver got to come into the mindset like, listen, this is a business trip. Oh, you want to throw on the shades, but I got mine
Well,
right here too.
the sun is killing my eyes. I can't see anything.
And then I got these bright lights on, and they killing my eyes too, man. Don't it might not look like it, but hey, but listen, it's the 25th episode. Screw that. We chilling today. We chilling today. That's what we doing. 25th episode. But
Oh yeah. I
but
mean, look. I'm gonna say this though. I feel like, you know, Ed's on life support right now. He's on life
yeah,
support.
where you at, Ed? You quiet today, brother. You been quiet the last couple of days, man.
Now I know he's dealing with family things, and he's got to be super dad and stuff. So I
Right.
get it. With the young one in the house and stuff, and taking care of things, and I get it. So I know he ain't being quiet just because the Lakers lost. He got things he's doing, but I do. I'm like Your team really needs to step up on defense, and I feel like the Lakers are going to win both games at home. They're going to win both games at home. They might lose the second game, but I know this next game coming up, Lakers are 99% going to win. Now, personally, I still want the Nuggets to win, but it's going to be hard because, again, is Murray going to be able to have that fourth quarter? Is Jokic going to be able to score 40 points and get a double or triple double? Is the rest of the bench like, how are they going to play in LA? And that's what I'm saying, because the Lakers defense, they play all out when they're at
Right.
home. So that's why I'm like, I'm not gonna look down on the Lakers, especially with them being at home. I feel like they're truly gonna have a dominant game. But again, I see it being within like a 10-point score. Like, they're not gonna dog walk them, but at the same time, it should be an easier win for LA having the crowd behind them.
Yeah, I think the crowd makes a I think the Lakers make their adjustments. I think they're going to play to their attention. But look, Keith, he's a Lakers fan, and he said he's scared. He said he's scared. Yeah, you should be scared. It's like, no, I'm talking myself.
I mean, and again, like I said, from the beginning, it was going to be a back and forth. Home court advantage is a big deal in these matchups, and like you said, Miami still won at Boston, and that was freaking phenomenal. But that's the whole thing. Like, Boston, they play good on the road and at home. They don't play great either one. You know what I mean, on a consistent basis. So I'm not so much worried about the Celtics as I would have been. I'd have been worried for the Nuggets. If the Nuggets would have gave up one at home in the first two games, I definitely would have been worried. I'd have been hitting the panic button.
For me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's vice versa for me. I think I'll hit the panic button when Boston plays at home, because now just what I've told you in the last 22 games, 11-11. It's just like, it looked like for me the Boston Celtics shoot better when they away than they are at home. I don't know what it is, because for me it seems like they play better when the crowd is against them instead of the crowd being with them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and unfortunately and I think I hit on some of this yesterday. It was like, if the pressure isn't on, it's like they play down to the competition. And I'm not, again, like I said yesterday, Miami is not down competition, but it's like they're playing to just match what Miami is doing, or try to match the game that they're playing, instead of only trying to play their game. And I think that's when it comes down to, like, when it gets under pressure, like they did with the Sixers, when it was like, well, we either got to win this or we're going the fuck home. And all of a sudden, you've seen a competitive ass team come to play. You've seen Tatum play and step up and do what needed to be done. And it's like, if you need pressure, then fine, lose a game. Now you got the pressure. Now the pressure is on. So let's see what they do. If they lose again, then it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. But again, because of the whole pressure thing, they play better under pressure. They kind of play better away from home, and it is what it is. They might be able to go steal one in Miami, but like I said, the role players are going to play a key role in this matchup through the entire series. Whoever's bench or whoever's role players produce more, that's more likely who's going to win. Miami's bench and role players produce more. Jimmy Buckets went and got the buckets they needed. So you have your superstar playing well, you have your role players playing well, and you got your bench putting some points up and playing decent defense. That's the chemistry you need to win. The Heat came to win, and they did. So now let's see if Boston can step up to the challenge and not let them take another game.
See, ESPN, listen, I love my Heat culture, man. I love my squad. But I got to be honest here. ESPN, stop disrespecting my team. Stop this 16.7% chance of winning. Stop disrespecting my team. Stop doing it. This should be at least a little bit closer. Y'all had the Boston Celtics winning 83.3%. Yeah, y'all played. Y'all really played.
I'd put it closer to 70%, but I couldn't give him more than 70%.
Man,
Because it's a big game they have to win. They
16.7%
can't.
though.
Like I said, I mean, the highest I could probably go in my head, in theory, is like a 70% chance of Boston winning. Because, like I said, this is a crucial game in this series. You cannot go down 2-0 after you play 2 games in your own home court. You can't. So, like I
But
said,
Boston
for
better
them,
show up, man.
you
Boston better
damn
show
right.
up.
More
They
like
better
Tatum.
show up because the Heat ain't playing. The Heat is not playing with Boston. They just not. They just not. They wanna prove that they can run with anybody on the floor. That's one thing about Miami. They do not care who you are. They're going to play their style of game, no matter what defensive matchup, what defensive scheme. They're going to find a way to play their style of pro basketball to win basketball games. And Boston
Absolutely.
have to be on that same mindset.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. And that's why I'm saying, like, in the end, same thing with the Lakers, man. It's gonna be a competitive series. It's a series for a reason. It's not all over in one game. One game isn't going to tell the whole story. Now,
Right.
in the end, one game can tell the turning point, but it doesn't tell the whole story. So, like I said, until it's done, until it's over, it's not over.
Right.
Until the fat lady sings, everybody still has a chance. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Agreed.
I'm just excited for an awesome basketball game tonight. I mean,
So
really, I think that this is going to be the same thing like we watched last night. It's going to be a back and forth. It's either going to be a back and forth, low scoring affair, or both teams are just going to shoot the fucking lights out, and it's going to be like over 250 total points. Those are really the only 2 ways I see this going down. It's either going to be all defense or all offense.
well, speaking of that, if you're ready for it, we could definitely bring it out right now.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that
Let's
is
roll it out.
let's knock it out the park right now. Presented by hopefully FanDuel and presented by Bet Us. Receive 125% of your sports book upon initial deposit. Link is in the description for all the bets here. So, Mac, I mean,
So the first
Aaron Gordon screwed you last night, man.
Yes, bro. Every bet was perfect except for Aaron freaking Gordon, man. And I said it too. I went for 14 points with Gordon. He got 8. So I'm going 10 points, and he still couldn't even score 10 points.
No,
And
he
he didn't
scored.
even get
No,
a
he scored 10 points. It was KCP that didn't score 10 points. Because I looked at the box score. Yes, I looked at the box score. Aaron Gordon
No,
scored
I
10
didn't
points.
score over 10 points.
Oh, over 10 points.
Yeah,
Got it.
it was at 10 and a half.
Oh, you should have just kept it at regular. You should have kept it at +9 or something like that.
Yeah, well, they didn't have that option. They didn't have 10 points is like the lowest they have as far as putting on the parlay for points.
Okay. So if you would have did like plus, if you couldn't do no under 10 points at all, or probably would have did 8.
No, it didn't have that option for the parlay when I was building it at the time.
Right. Okay.
So, but we'll start left to right, and so the first bet, as you can see, it's plus 900. You got, what is that? Jaylen Brown with 15 points. Bam with 15 points. You got Butler with 20 points. Tatum with 20 points. Smart, Vincent with 1-3 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Brogdon, Jaylen Brown, Martin with two 3-pointers, and then Bam with 8+ rebounds. So again, I think Jason Tatum comes to play tonight. I don't think he does some the disappearing act that he did last time. Hopefully, so I'm gonna put my money that he's gonna put it where it counts, and I honestly, I'm gonna let it lie. But
I mean,
Tatum is the only suspect. Tatum is the only suspect.
I feel like Jason Tatum came to play in game 1. It's just that he only touched the ball 4 times in that fourth quarter where I like we said on the last show, like a couple shows ago, that he needs to demand the ball. So if you feel like you're the best player on the floor, you have to demand the ball. So hopefully he sees what everybody else in the media and what we've been saying, and he takes that to account and demands the ball. If he feel like he's on one, give him the ball, basically. So I think,
Absolutely.
and I don't, because he had 29 points in game one. I don't think he was a disappearing act. I just think they didn't go to him. That's
Yeah.
just what that was. They just didn't go to him.
Yeah, no. So the next bet, the middle bet is, I mean, it's essentially my lock bet for this game. So Brogdon plus 10 points. You got Marcus Smart plus, I think that's 10 points. Yeah,
Yeah,
plus
plus
10.
10 points. Yep.
Lowry plus 10. Bam plus 15. Brown plus 15. Strauss, Jalen, Malcolm, Caleb, and Kyle Lowry all hitting a 3-pointer.
This is a
That's
winner.
money.
This
That's
is a
money.
winner lineup. I like the first one, but this one here, if you got some big money that you want to put into this lineup, I suggest you do.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the comeback. For $5, I'm bringing back 19.
Right.
So I mean, almost quadrupling the money.
Exactly. So I like this lineup. I might have to steal this lineup. Listen, I don't know.
For
I might have
sure,
to.
for
I
sure.
might. I might have to borrow some money and see what's up. And if I win it, I give it back. I might have to do that. I might have to do that. Listen, borrow some money and give you a little bit back. You know what I'm saying? So, hey,
Absolutely.
we could work something out here. But yeah, I
And
love this. I love this. When I looked at it and when you sent it to me, I thought this was a lock as well. I like Brogdon definitely could get 10. He had 19 in the last game. Smart could definitely get 10. He only had what? He had 13 in the last game. Lowry definitely probably going to step up. He's one of those veterans that's going to step up. Could probably get you 10 or 11 or 12. Bam Adebayo plus 15. He's been playing well anyway. So I think he's going to get plus 15, probably like 17 to 20 points in this game. Jaylen Brown, that's a no-brainer. He's going to get plus 15. We already know he's going to get his. Max Strus is going to shoot 1-3. Jaylen Brown's going to make 1-3. Brogdon's probably going to make 1 or 2 threes, but you got 1-3 on here. That's a lock. Caleb Martin, that's a lock. Lowry, that's a lock. I could just see all this happening like right now when the game starts. I can really see that happening. Probably
I mean, so essentially, all this happened the last game.
right. And I feel like Struz, Brown, Brogdon, Martin, and Lowry could all get those in the first half as far as
Yeah,
1-3.
yeah,
So you
absolutely.
that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. I
Yeah.
love this. I love this lock, man. I do.
And then the next bet. Now this is essentially my 3 point bets with a couple people. Now it's Jalen Brown with 2, Brogdon with 2, Strauss
Mm-hmm.
with 2, Caleb Martin with 2, and Lowry with 2 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, all these guys take multiple 3 point shots throughout the game, so it is completely doable. Now, I got Bam at 10 points, Brogdon at 10 points, Martin at 10 points, Lowry at 10 points, and Marcus Smart at 10 points. Again, I made it easy on the points, so they only had to hit the first plateau. I'm not asking too much of these guys. I'm just asking them to play their game. If they play their game, again, this is another high payout one that is more than likely to hit.
Right.
And he said,
This,
my middle one is my lock for this evening. This is my favorite one. The third bet all the way to the right. That is my third, my second favorite, and then the first one that's posted to the left. That's my number 3.
so you have the middle as your number 1, the right the number 2, and then your to the left is the number 3.
Yeah. And as you can see, like I don't put a lot of money on these games, but I all these games I bet on. So when I win, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna show it so you guys can see it and know it. And then even when I lose, I tell you why I lost, and I tell you like, okay, this is why I lost because I was expecting this guy to step up and do more. Now remember, most of my bets are a little spicy, so I'm asking a little bit extra from somebody that might not always give it. So, sometimes I don't hit, but sometimes I do. And me personally, I'm really good at calling under and over on games. That's where a lot of my parlays come in. I play under over for the MLB a lot, especially now that the seasons and we're almost at season form for every club.
Right.
It's getting nice. And I've hit multiple 13 and 17 bet parlays. I've shared a few of them with you, where I turned $5 into 1,700, where I've turned $1 and into $3,000.
Hey, I mean, if you want to bring those bets up on here, you can put the MLB bets up on here during a segment. During our bet segment, I don't really mind about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, but see, the reason why I don't do stuff like that is because that is a complete long shot, and that in theory, that's how a lot of people get caught overextending themselves, because you're
Okay.
like, okay, I'm going to make a bunch of bets because there's 13 games on the night, so I'm going to play all different kinds of parlays and trying to link it together, and it's like, in theory, it sounds good, but to literally try to pick 13 games and to pick the exact winners, it's a lot harder than you think, especially when you're like, oh no, the Yankees are definitely going to win today, and then the Yankees lose, and all
Right.
your bets have the Yankees winning. So now all those bets you can wipe off, and they're all going to lose. And that's
Exactly.
why I say, don't overextend yourself. Don't bet more than what you got. And if you're going to bet every day, set a daily limit. You know what I mean? Whether it be $10, $20, make sure you're comfortable. And if you need help, please get help.
Right. Facts. Absolutely. So make sure y'all listen to this segment. I will be putting this up on the video side of things. I'll be uploading it as a segment for the channel. So make sure you get your bets out. That's probably gonna be the first thing I do, because last time I see it, I put that second over the recap of the basketball games. I'm gonna put this first, put the recap second. But in all, who you got winning tonight? You taking Boston, or you
Yeah.
taking the Heat? You taking Boston, and let me know why you're taking Boston today, brother. Let me know.
So I mean, because they have to come back. They just got socked in the mouth. So you need to come out. You need to come out swinging. And essentially, it's like, if you go down 2-0 against Miami, I mean, the writing's on the wall then. And I honestly, I think that the Boston Celtics are just a much better team than that.
And I really hope that Boston wants to make this a series. But I'm going for my Heat, man. I gotta go with the Heat culture. I gotta go with the Heat culture, man. But I would not be surprised if Boston wins tonight, though. I would not be surprised.
No. But I will say this, like I think it's going to be between like an 8 and 12 point game, depending on, like you said, who really steps up in the fourth quarter. Because even if Miami's down, if Jimmy Bucket steps up and bangs 2 threes and then gets a bunch of good looks at the rim, you're talking about a completely different game.
Right. And I just feel like with let's see what the supporting cast for Jimmy Butler can actually do to help them win, and let's see what other players can step up for Boston as well, because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just can't do it. We know Brogdon had 19 off the bench. Let's see who else in this start for, because Marcus Smart, we know Marcus Smart is good, a facilitator and stuff like that, but he really didn't have that. He had more assists than he had rebounds. I thought he would have had more rebounds.
Yeah,
but I want to see a little bit more offensive arsenal as well.
I think
for
the last
Marcus Smart,
and he only had one game where he scored like what was it, like 23 or 24 points.
Yeah. I think it was in the ball. I think it was in the 70s.
He's more lucky. Like he's going to probably have around the same amount of points as he does assists on most games.
Right.
That's what he is. I mean, he's a facilitator. He's a defender. If you need him to give you offense, he can definitely give you offense, and that's what I love about him. He's definitely not a one-dimensional player.
Yeah, I'm not a big listen. I think Marcus Smart is the biggest flop in the NBA outside of LeBron James, in my opinion. I think they both should be best supporting actor duo and get an Oscar the way they flop. That's just me. Let me tell you, man.
I know the flopping video of LeBron where he was like, "Man, I don't even know how to flop. I wish somebody would teach me."
Oh, get the heck out of here, LeBron! You are a actor for real. Like, come on, like. Listen, NBA players are actors these days, because and I want to get on this last NBA subject that I forgot to put up there before we get into a little bit of NFL talk as well. These refs, these refs are terrible in this conference finals, and that's going for the Miami Heat and Celtics thing. Even for that's fine, Thank you, but
I'm gonna leave it on the counter because it's still kind of warm.
okay,
You get finished if they cool off, put it in the refrigerator.
okay, cool. So, um, Mom did before she left. So, I'm gonna be honest here with these NBA refs, right? They've been terrible this whole conference finals. Like I see that you let them play in the second round and in the first round, but now we're starting to get a little bit too soft in these conference finals at to a point. Now we saw that game last night, and I just didn't understand a lot of these calls. I didn't understand them.
I think part of the problem is you're down to the final four teams.
Right.
There's a lot of players that they're gonna get that extra call. They're gonna get that because of who they are and how they play. Now, do I like that? Absolutely fucking not. I wish they would call it like the playoffs of not the last 10 years, but between 2000 and 2010, where
Right.
it was like the playoffs. They let certain shit go. Now, yes, LeBron's gonna get all the calls because it's LeBron. You know what I mean? And same thing with Smart. Smart is good at catching people slipping, whether it's a good slip or a bad slip. You know what I mean? It happens. And at the same time, it slows the game down. We don't like it, but you have to respect it.
I don't, because like they starting to remind me of the NFL refs. They don't know what a flagrant foul is in the NBA. We don't know what a pass interference is in the NFL these days.
Well,
because
I'll say this though. If you make contact with the head, and it's a wind back, bam, you slap somebody in the face,
then that's a flagrant. But I just feel like it wasn't a wind back for D'Angelo Russell's flagrant foul.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like I said, I mean, I can understand it always. You know what I mean? But for me, like I said, it's like you make contact with the head and the face, it's going to be a call. It's going to be a call. And you know what I mean?
Like, call or it's going to be a flagrant foul, because we see Hachimura get hit over the head under the basket, and they didn't look at that.
Well, I mean, it's Hachimura. You know what I mean?
What you mean it's Hachimura? I mean, that's what makes it biased to me.
He's not going to get the same calls that a lot of people will. Anthony Davis gets hit in the head. That's definitely going to get called. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, certain players are going to get many more calls than other players will. And it's just unfortunately how they're roughing the games now. And I mean, it's the same thing like the NFL. Like, they're just going so soft with it, where it's all about offense, nothing for defense. Nobody cares about defense anymore. And it sucks because us real, sports fans, that's what we want. We love the defense.
Yeah.
Because without defense, then what's the fucking point? What's the point? Well, let's just have shootout then. Let's not call it basketball anymore. Let's call it shootout. What team can shoot the most? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I get it, bro. And I just feel like some things just should be left. Like, if you're getting tapped on your hand or something of that nature, like, just let that shit go. If it's a little bit to a point where I feel like it's some body to body contact and there's a little physicality, yeah, you're going to call it. But these little taps on the wrist, little taps on the hands, come on, man. Like, y'all grown men, and y'all complain about every call. I understand it. Then another thing about what I talked about yesterday, when it comes down to it, you waiting for the layup to be missed, and you called the foul after the layup is missed. And we saw that numerous times in the game yesterday. That has to stop. It has to stop, man. It's starting to get really, really annoying to watch a basketball game, and for you to miss a layup and to get fouled. And you call a foul 3 seconds after the layup was missed. Like, come on, that's just
time restriction on fouls. Like if you don't call it immediately, then there should be no foul.
Don't call it at all, basically.
As soon as you get to thinking in it, then now you're thinking. Now, are you thinking about what you saw, or are you going after what you actually saw?
I think they're going after if the basket is made or not, because I feel like if some of these layups were made, these fouls wouldn't been called. Let's just keep it how it is. It wouldn't be okay. Say if I made a layup and I got mad contact. Oh, you're not gonna call it because I made the shot. But then when I drive to the lane and get a little push to the side or touch my side, getting the layup, and I miss it. 3 seconds later, when they get a rebound on a fast break, you call a foul. Like what?
Yeah, no,
It's the inconsistency for me.
Well, I was just trying to figure out which car I put my clubs in because I just put them in the truck and then realized that we could be taking the car.
It's the inconsistency for me when it comes to these NBA refs. But I say the same thing about these NFL refs, man. I feel like during the off season, they need to take a look at how can you make the game better, in my opinion. Now,
Easy. Take all of the questionable calls, put it in a compilation, get all the refs to sit down in one room, go over this play. What do you think this one should be called? Okay, ask about eight of the refs, get different opinions, and say, okay, so you see how the different views saw it. This is how it needs to be called. When you see this happen, this is the call for this. If you see it happen, and then show them a different version of a similar thing. If you see this is not a foul. Right. Don't call this a foul.
Exactly. Don't call it a foul at all. Or if you consider it as a flagrant, like I need an explanation of what a flagrant foul is, because it's been like, okay, if you get touched over the head and you get hit in the face or you get hit in the head, it automatically should be looked at as a flagrant foul. And then you have some plays where people do get hit in the head or get hit across the face and you don't call it a flagrant foul. So what is the real reason of the flagrant foul? And I think the fans need an explanation on why, so they won't have the reaction that they have. Same thing for a pass interference. You should have an understanding of what a pass interference is. Can you, for me in the NFL, I thought that you could touch the guy within 5 yards and you can't really grab him anymore after that. But it's been called in the NFL that within 5 yards, pass interference been called within the 5 yards. So I'm confused on what these refs really know.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. It's ref to ref, and that's the problem. It needs to be a standard, and for a good majority, I'll say, because I'm not one of those people, but for a good majority, the games are called pretty evenly. But it's just in certain games, certain players they get all the extra shit. They get every little call, every little thing.
Oh, like the flop when LeBron went out of bounds?
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, it's not just LeBron, though.
No, I'm just giving an example of that, just that one.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, no, I mean, it's all on par with the same thing. It's just the inconsistency. And it's like we want consistency from the players. Well, we want consistency from the refs too.
Yeah, we just want consistency all the way around, basically.
Yeah, I mean, because if not, you're devaluing the game, in my opinion. You're devaluing it.
And we don't want to devalue either game, because we both love football. We both love basketball. So we don't want to mess up the entertainment part of it. So let's just this off season, I just really hope that these refs in the NBA, after the season's over, they come together and they try to figure out a solution. Because it started to make me feel like I don't want to throw the script out there because I don't think it's the script, but it's starting to make me feel like some of these refs are doing this shit on purpose. It's starting to feel like that, and I don't want to feel like that.
Yo, did you see the replay? Did you see the replay of the ball of the last game where the Miami Heat made the basket and the ref was like, like he looked like he was mad? Do you have money on the line, sir? What's going on here? And it's the same thing like the NFL. Like, they need to make sure that they're cracking down on the officials and the players and making sure that there's no inside shit going on. Because
I dig it.
Some of these calls have been real suspect.
I agree. It's been really, really suspect, and I really hope that the Adam Silver and the NBA take a look at this and see what they could do, because you see what they did last year when they got together. They were able to, the takeout foul. They were able to start bringing in more fast breaks bring the fast break game back into the game. Now you see how they changed that. If you stop at a fast break purposely because you don't want them to get a fast break, that's an automatic tech. So it's smart that you make it that way, because I kind of miss the fast break game, the 2-on-1s and getting up and down the floor, the run and gun a little bit. I miss that. So yeah, I'm happy that they brought that back. So I hope Adam Silver looks at this and see what he could do to make sure these refs know what call is what call.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, it affects the game in so many different ways. Whether good calls, bad calls, it's the same thing. Either way you go, it's detrimental to the game.
Yeah.
So if it's not consistent, you're screwing somebody over. Somebody's getting screwed.
Yeah. So eventually, for me, is these refs are starting to remind me.
When I say that, I don't just mean like the players or the teams. It's the fans. We're getting screwed out of a good game.
Absolutely.
And like I said, to me, that's all I care about. I care about watching a good game more than I care about my team winning most times.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but most times. Because we've all had those games where we get one good call and it changes the momentum and we win a game that we really kind of shouldn't have won, but we did anyway.
Yeah.
And like I said, and that's all good and fine, but when it's a consistent basis, teams that are just getting calls for no good, that really aren't there.
Yeah.
That's upsetting to me, especially I'm a Ravens fan, so we play a lot of defense. So for some of them calls that we get for holding and for pass interference and stuff, we don't get them same calls on offense. When somebody's holding our receiver coming across the middle, we're not getting those calls because we're the Ravens.
Oh, I don't even want to get it to the Raiders, man. As much stuff that we've been through with these NFL refs, I don't.
And that's what I'm saying. Refs can ruin a team's chances completely.
Especially if it's a playoff game.
Yeah.
Man.
You already got so many biased things against so many other teams. Mm-hmm. And now you're talking about a ref could possibly screw you over one call.
Absolutely. Joe, we've seen it multiple times.
March down the field, get all the way to their opponent's 30-yard line, get a 15-yard penalty, drive is dead.
We've seen it multiple times where it goes all the way back to when Calvin Johnson had that catch in the back of the end zone when they called that not a catch. Then you had the catch with the, I think it was the Lions in the I think it was it Packers and Lions or Packers and Seattle Seahawks with the Hail Mary, and he caught the ball and he had 1 foot in and they called it a touchdown. That was controversial in itself. I'm like, okay, Calvin Johnson's was a catch.
The Dez Bryant catch.
The Dez Bryant catch.
There's so many things that have been ruined because of officiating.
Yeah.
So it's really up to the leagues. The leagues need to set a standard. And again, refs need to be held accountable for what's going on. Yo, what's up?
Yo.
You woke up from the dead, huh?
Bro, I was taking a damn nap, damn baby and shit.
Oh, we know.
Listen, I understand, man.
Early.
Yeah.
That's the life. That's the life of being a dad, man. That's the life.
I'm 3 years, so I already know. But this the first baby in 12 years, so I get back.
You get back around to things. So listen.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know about being a dad, but I know about being an uncle dad. I can say that. About being an uncle dad. That's what I call myself, an uncle dad, because my brother's gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that, but I'm an uncle dad, basically. We're just talking about officiating in both leagues when it comes to the NBA and the NFL, how consistent it needs to be.
Something MLB in there too. You can definitely throw the MLB in there too.
Oh yeah, MLB is just as terrible.
that literally call it at the knee, and you'll have other that'll let it go.
Yeah, their officiating probably is the worst on the fundamental part of the game, just the strike zone, and the strike zone has just been terrible for years. Depending on the
terrible.
depending on the ump, the strike zone is terrible.
Yeah,
There's no consistency.
As we know, it's supposed to be knees to elbow on most guys. That's where the strike zone is.
Yeah.
You know? So to see the ball come like halfway down the guy's chin, and they say strike, you're like, how is that a strike? And then the batters that like being a hitter, it ain't like any other sport. Any other sport, you could kind of go back and forth a little bit with the refs and kind of plead your case. But the second you do that in the MLB, ejected. So that's even more detrimental. So
This
it's
is
like,
how bad officiating is. It goes all the way to the video games that make the officiating bad. Because even when I play MLB The Show and I don't hit the ball and they say that's a strike and you replay, I'm like, what you mean this is a strike? Like, what? Like, even MLB The Show do the same thing. Madden do the same thing. 2K
Madden,
do the same
the
thing.
officials aren't even on the
yo.
field in Madden. Madden don't even need to be taught.
Oh,
That is just a travesty as far as a football game. They don't even have referees on the field.
I only play online. I only play online against other people. I don't play.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Even then, like you'll throw the ball, and I've seen it multiple times where it's like you don't even necessarily lag. It just has that half a second glitch, and it's like all of a sudden the like from your screen, their safety is on the other side of the field. It glitches back in after 1 second. Their safety's intercepting the ball. What the hell? What the hell?
That's why I stopped getting in the Madden tournaments. I stopped getting in the Madden tournaments.
Madden has been trash. Madden has been trash for the last
and
about
then
5-6 games. Probably
only
even
play
longer
Madden
than
when I'm bored.
How do you make
bro.
a game where the cornerback goes after the ball harder than any wide receiver on that? The wide receiver don't attack the ball. The wide receiver will be, and it's the same thing. It's like if you so any type of lob pass, whether it's short or like 30 yards, every time motherfucker in a video game, why the fuck do you need to jump for a ball that's straight to you? So as soon as you jump in the air to catch the ball, the defender taps him and the ball drops. What?
Yeah.
It's too much for me. It's too much for me, man.
Yeah. 2K is a little bit different because I don't really play it the regular 2K. I just be on the blacktop. I be in the neighborhoods and stuff. It just play the
I will say this: 2K is much better as far as the officiating in the game and in the play of the game, because it's again, it'll let you play in that game.
Yeah, it will let you play that game, but
it'll let you play the game. And the whole thing is like there's not a button to smack somebody, even though I kind of wish they would put that button in there. I'd take an ejection off of one player if I got to slap LeBron at the time.
Or they call a flagrant. They call a flagrant in 2K.
I've never seen it.
You know what? They might put it in there though. You never know. They might just put it in there. You never know. But Ed, man, tell us, let the people know how you felt about the game last night. I know y'all lost, and I'm not going to sit here and bash you.
No, it was a decent game until we got to the fourth quarter, and we just ran out of gas at the end of the game, honestly. And then just defensively, defensively, you can't really do too much about Jamal Murray in the streak that he was on at that point, because if you just go back and watch the film again, like you see that almost every shot was contested. You either had LeBron in his face, hand up, or you had AD in his face, hand up. Like if he's going to hit those shots, you just shake a guy's hand and you just keep it moving. Like there's nothing you really could do. Like it's not like he was getting clean, like super clean looks, or like you know what I mean. Some stuff that's like broken down in coverage is like he's just coming down one pass and just jacking it, and it's like shit, he's on fire. There's nothing you can really do. And LeBron just taking those three. I think it was 3 threes in a row. I think it was about 4 of them, 4 or 5 of them overall. That he just
I got to cut out of here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going golfing. Don't want to keep away, but
you golf man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You gotta hold your tea time.
I'll be on tea time, brothers. Y'all have a great weekend. I'm Boston tonight. I'm on Lakers on Lake home.
All right, say no more, man. He
All right,
coaching. I don't care.
I'm
He
talking to you on
coaching.
Monday. Peace.
All right, man. See you later.
Yeah, I just think that we just, we down the stretch, our defense just, our offense really just went to hell, honestly, because LeBron, whether it was the tweak ankle, whether it was just running out of gas, he just coming down, just shooting it, and it's like he just completely stopped attacking the rim with probably about like 5 minutes left in the game. So it was just it just you just hope that we just go back to the game plan, just play defense, attack downhill, we get whatever we wanted, but then we start jacking threes unwarranted. It's like,
I hated that even though Anthony
what
Davis
is
made
he?
1 3, he
Yeah, but
went
that
back
was
to shooting
late.
a three. I don't
I
understand
don't
that.
get it.
I didn't get it either, bro, because like Anthony Davis was dominant in game 1 when he was back to the basket or he was in the paint or that even a little mid-range at the elbow. Cool.
Yeah, and I think
But
he
now you're
missed. I think
stretching out for
he got
threes. Like, come
he got
on.
some clean looks. I mean, towards the end, it was just more so desperation. But I think that he got some clean looks throughout the game that he just missed. Do you feel me? I didn't feel like he played a bad game. I just felt like he just missed some shots that he felt like he could have made. That's the thing with AD. It's like AD, if you hitting some of the little push shots, the little runners and stuff, then it looks good. But when you're missing them, it's like it can look bad as far as overall when you look at the stat sheet. But I just think that LeBron taking those unwarranted shots when he was dominant, getting downhill, creating and getting layups. It's like that's the killer of the game. And like I said, I don't know if it was fatigue, if it was the set that what he had 2 ankle turns, turned the same ankle twice. It's like, you know what I mean? Who knows? You feel me? But it's not excuses. It's not an excuse business. He wouldn't provide an excuse, so I ain't gonna get one for him. I just think that we just played. We played a great game for 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter came late, 5 minutes, and it just went to hell. So
it reminds me of game 1 in the Boston game. It was a great game through 3 quarters with Boston, and it came down to that 5 minutes in the fourth when Boston fell apart. And that's what happened with the Lakers in game 2.
Yeah, we just fell apart. We could easily see ourselves 2-0, but 1-1 should be the case here. I think I even heard you say it with about like 6-7 minutes left. Like, I ain't mad at it being 1-1. I'm just like, yeah, it look like it's gonna be 1-1 if we keep the same pace. But then LeBron just started shooting random shit. It just got out of hand.
Yeah, I think for real, it should be 1-1 because what I saw in that game was when Jamal Murray made the floater in the fourth because he couldn't buy a shot through 3 quarters. Like, he was struggling through 3 quarters. And when he finally got his floater and his mid-range jump shot going, that's when he started to heat up. And I'm like, okay, he could shoot from anywhere at this point, right? And then now
it didn't even matter.
When he got going, then Michael Porter got going. When Michael Porter got going, Bruce Brown made a crucial 3. So I'm just like, man.
I think we have to, like I said after game 1, we have to switch that D'Angelo matchup with Bruce Brown because Bruce Brown is seeing green. He is seeing green go. He is seeing red like a bull. He's just attacking him just relentlessly, and it's like he can't hold up. And we have to, like I said, we have to treat them like the Warriors if we want to win. We have to treat all their 3-point shooters like the Warriors 3-point shooters. And if we treat them like that, then we'll win. If we play like the days when just wave guys off and not respect certain shooters that have been proven to be able to hit, then it's like there's only 2 guys on the court that you really can do that to. You probably wave off Jeff Green, you wave off Aaron Gordon. The rest of them, you need to be in the pocket, ready to contest. And as you seen last night, once they get hot, it's like there's nothing you really can do. You can contest and you can be there. But the motherfucker just hitting some shit. He hitting step back threes, and it's like there's nothing you can do.
Because I went through the team stats earlier. And the Lakers was 8 of 30 from the 3.
Yeah, that's too many 3-point attempts.
They had 40 points in the paint. Like they only had 2 less points than Denver. Denver had 42. So sitting there and looking at, I'm like, y'all had way more points in the paint in game 1. Y'all relying on too many 3-point shots.
Just attack.
You have to attack, and that's what y'all did through 3 quarters. Y'all
because we can get a layup at any as I keep saying. Once you get past the initial defender against this team, you can get a layup at any time. It's a 3 lane, and then the Nuggets hit the switch and go into a drop coverage, which kind of basically forced us to be a more of an outside shooting team. But we still were able to convert a few and keep the game within our favor. But like I say, offensively, we just went to hell. We just started shooting too many threes. And defensively, it's just, when a guy get that hot, there's nothing you can really do. It's really not. He was scorching hot in the fourth. What, he had 23 in the fourth? Like, no. There's nothing you can really do. He scored a lot of that within like the last like 7 to 8 minutes of the fourth.
Exactly, man, and hopefully, game three is crucial for y'all,
I
man.
mean, they
Game
held
three,
home court. At the end of the day, we got to do the same. That's what they
right?
really say.
Exactly.
They held home court. We have to do the same.
So Boston and Miami game 2 tonight. Who you taking, man? Who you taking? I'm going my Heat, man. I'm going my Heat, man.
I think the Heat are on this mission of just trying to get respect, trying to validate their position right now. And I think that Boston, as a team, they crack early if you get to them early. If you can get to this Boston team early, then they'll crack. They'll eventually crack because they don't feed off the crowd as much as other teams do, as you would like to see. It's like Boston fans are just almost like on edge of seat damn near the whole game, kind of like how Philly fans were. And it's just like if y'all not going to use the crowd to your advantage to feed off of it, then it's like y'all gonna be home. Y'all gonna be down 0-2. Y'all gonna be down 0-2 tonight. Jimmy's gonna come in there. He's gonna steal the show, and he's just going. You know what I mean? He's gonna put the heat on his back again. Like he's one of these players that's like he's like a Jokic. Like you can you can guarantee you can book him for certain numbers. You can book him for about 25, 5 and 5, couple steals. You know what I mean? A couple Jimmy plays, and it's just the Heat. The Heat is a team. The Heat is a franchise. They feed off of that shit.
Right.
Those guys, they feed off of that shit.
Of course, I'm taking the Heat. But
Yeah,
like I said, I know it probably gonna be 1-1 going back to Miami, but of course I'm gonna take my Heat. Now.
Hey,
yeah,
you get greedy. You get greedy. Jimmy the greedy type. You get greedy. You get one, take it 2-0, and then go home and finish the job at home. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
And
they try to get an early rest up.
Right. I was just saying, like, you know what? Boston got to get their head out their ass, man. They know they are a championship caliber team, but when you don't give the ball to Jason Tatum in the fourth quarter, he only touches it 4 times. Like that's Jason Tatum demand the ball tonight. If you feel like you one of the top 5 players in the league or top 10 players in the league, you got to demand the ball. I don't care if Jaylen Brown doing his thing. They know that you are the face of that franchise, and then of course they're going to treat Jaylen Brown like the Rodman of the team because because Jason Tatum is Batman, so they're going to treat you like the Rodman of the team. So
he has some real nasty plays in that end of that first game. A couple travels, some bad turnovers, and it's just like it's been a consistent thing over for about a month now. Like Jason Tatum, he may be that guy, but it's in certain scenarios that they need to just play off of each other more. You don't run enough 2-man game between the two. It's almost just a your turn, my turn thing. Like when LeBron first got to Miami, it was just like, okay, it's your turn, LeBron, then it's my turn, Dwayne Wade, and then Chris Bosh. You just figure it out in the mix. And it's like everybody's just standing around waiting for one of them two to make a play, and then here's Mark Smart, and then he just come out the corner and just do his own thing. So the offense seems sometimes out of whack, and their defense is always fine, you know what I mean, for the most part, but offensively they can get in these spells where they just get into ISO ball and the ball's not moving, and it's just like there's no sense of like directional playing on any given play, and the shit it shows when they're playing.
Agreed.
It shows.
Agreed 100%, man. But I will be live for the game tonight. I might be doing a doubleheader because Brittany Griner's coming back tonight.
BG back tonight. Yeah.
BG is back tonight. That's 11 o'clock at night. I might finish
That's
that game.
Crazy. They're playing at 11.
They playing at 11 at night, bruh. Cause I think I got a feeling that it might be some games on ESPN. I think tonight's game for the basketball is on TNT, but I think it's some other games on ESPN is why they have that 11 o'clock.
What's going on? That's what I'm thinking. Like that, this plays into that conversation we had the other day about the marketing. Like, who the hell is going to watch this game? This like, why are you putting it at 11 o'clock at night? Like, what the hell?
11 o'clock at night.
After the basketball game, like they'll probably get like the first 5-10 minutes of watching, and then if it's not interesting, people are going to cut it off.
Yeah. So let me just double check and see, like with MLB,
on a Friday. This is insane.
Well, I mean, it's a baseball game on ESPN Plus, Apple TV. I don't. Is it hockey? Is the reason why? Like,
I have no idea.
Let me see. NHL. They got a game. Yeah, and they got a game on. They they got the hockey game on at 8:30 on ESPN. That's why.
Yeah, you can't fault them for doing that because hockey is just
It's Stanley
it's
Cup.
gonna make the money. They'll come. The people
Right,
watch hockey. The people watch hockey.
It's Stanley Cup, so the Stars and the Golden Knights play at 8:30.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
the game is at 11 o'clock for the WNBA game. But I can say, like, even I might do some games over the weekend as well because they have it's some good games. I mean, you have the Mercury and the Sparks. That's 11 o'clock. Of course, everybody wants to see that because of Brittany Griner. I think that's probably why I was going to bring in the viewers on the West Coast because they 3 hours behind on the East Coast. But as far as the games go, Saturday you got the Aces and the Storm. That's gonna be a good game at 3 o'clock.
That's a good slot.
Shout out to yep, that's on ABC, aka ESPN. So they got that. They got a 1 o'clock and a 3 o'clock slot, and then the Western Conference Finals come on at 8:30. So it's 3 basketball games. So hey, they got some slots there. So it's gonna be interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to some WNBA live play-by-plays to see who comes in through there. But I want to go through this real quick. I did say top 10 offenses in 2023 when it comes to the NFL. And I'm looking at it, and I want to see who they have as far as the – wow.
You see the top ranked offenses?
The top 10 offense in the NFL going into 2023 NFL season. So this is on NFL.com again.
Oh, Jesus.
NFL analyst. This is Cynthia Frulin. She's a NFL Network analytics expert. This is what she said. We gonna go 10-1 or 1-10. What we doing?
10-1. 10-1.
All right. Surprisingly, they have the New York Jets as number 10 with a projected win share of 7.5.
Okay.
So they have the Jets there. Then they have the Chargers at 9 with 7.2 projected win share. That's what she has that. Number 8, the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
So, I mean, I wanted to stop there because do you feel like y'all higher than 8 when it comes to a top 10 offense?
I think top 10 is fine. I mean, 8 is fine because we at the end of the day we don't really know what our wide receiver room is going to shake out to be. Like who's going to be the main guys, who's going to be the consistent chain movers out of that group. You know that Andrews is probably going to still be the top target as far as passing. And our run game has always been, top notch, no matter who's running it, whether it's Lamar, our stable of running backs, anybody. So I think the run game and the tight end group is established and solidified. I think it's just wide receiver. The questions as far as the wide receivers, as far as who's going to be the main guy, who's going to stand out. So I can see us, being top 10. I don't have a problem with that. I guess I don't have a problem with 8. 8 is fine. Let me hear the rest of them though.
The Seattle Seahawks is at 7.
The Seahawks got weapons. They got weapons on the outside that are just established. And then they bring in the young kid from did they bring in the young guy from Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you put him with Metcalf and Lockett, like, and their running backs is like, bro, and Geno was Geno last year. Like he was a Pro Bowl quarterback. He was accurate. He was probably the most accurate quarterback in the league. Like Geno, he showed that he can play. Like I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad so far.
San Francisco 49ers at 6.
They have questions at QB, so I can see why that's kind of low to me for them. But I think that the questions at QB, I think it kind of justifies that because, like you said the other day, they have between Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, and Trey Lance. They don't know who the hell they're going to play. So
right.
You know what I mean? We'll see with them.
They still have Christian McCaffrey. Then
the offense,
they still have Brandon Ayuk and Debo.
The weapons are there. The weapons are there.
Kittle.
This is the quarterback. They have the O line. Everything is there. They just have to figure out who's throwing the ball, who's calling the shots. That's all it is. And we'll see how he produces. I wouldn't see Trey Lance because of the threat of the run, but if Purdy is still Purdy, then like you got to roll with him.
Yeah.
You gotta roll with Purdy.
He got hurt in the NFC Championship game, so
you gotta roll with Purdy. If Purdy shows that he can still be that guy as far as decision making and not making bad decisions, it's like you gotta go with Purdy. You gotta go with Purdy. Unless you see something in Trey Lance is like, okay, it's time to roll with Trey Lance, but you have to go with Purdy.
And number 5, the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas
At number
is
5. I mean, they did add Brandon Cooks, who has been a very underrated, consistent wide receiver, no matter where he plays.
Where he plays, he's always 1,000 yards, take the top off the defense. Like they have weapons as well. You know, the running back room, Tony Pollard coming off injury, you lose Zeke, so it's like we'll see what the running back room kind of looks like. But
Because
I think
you lose Dalton Schultz as your tight end. But Luke
yeah.
Shoemaker has been good. He's been all right. But Ezekiel Elliott has been there. Noah Brown, you lose him. And you still have CeeDee Lamb. You still have CeeDee Lamb, you still have Tony Pollard, but Tony Pollard's coming off of an injury.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, you add Ronald Jones into the way, but I don't think he's better than Ezekiel Elliott. But hey,
I think the first team that I can think of off top that may be a little low in this so far would be the Chargers, because I think that the Chargers the passing game is going to be there. Austin Eckler, we're just seeing if he's going to actually if he still wants to be there, or they're going to trade him or not. I doubt, but I think that they might be a little low being at 9. Were they at 9, weren't they?
Yeah, they was at 9.
Chargers being at 9. I think the Cowboys may be a little too high for me. They may be a little too high because Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. They're going to put up stats. I think this is probably more stats driven than just like production as far as like winning plays and stuff like that. But I mean,
they have
that was always
win share at 7.9. That's the projected win share
for the offense. Yeah. So it's I think that's a lot. That's really a lot stat driven. So they put up some good stats. You know what I mean? Dak does throw it. He throws it enough. They have a pretty solid offensive line. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Number 4 is your division rival in the Cincinnati Bengals.
Number 4 is Cincinnati Bengals. So the one thing I'm questioning now is like, where's Detroit in all this?
They don't have a
Detroit was up there. Detroit was what? They were number 2 in the offense last year, number 3 in the offense. So man, like that's kind of disrespectful.
And you know what's funny though? People can say what they want about the Las Vegas Raiders, but we put up points last year. Defensively we suck.
Yeah, they're gonna put up points. Offensively, y'all should have been. I mean, you lose Waller, but you still have Devontae, you still have Jacobs, you still got a solid quarterback. Jimmy may be an upgrade, but health permitted, he's a solid quarterback, and it's questions on your offensive line. So I guess it's warranted, but. Yeah. I think if Detroit can, I think they probably see Detroit as a one-hit wonder. That's probably why they're not so high. But they had like one of the top scoring offenses, top passing offenses, top total yard offenses last year. Like they were a legit offense. They just couldn't stop anybody. So,
right. So Cincinnati, of course, they got the Jamar Chase. They brought in Orlando Brown on the offensive side for the offense. Tight end Irv Smith for the O-line. T. Higgins, the wide receiver core they have. So Joe Mixon is really an underrated running back in this league. So I can see them at number 4. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. They're a little bit too high for me.
Yeah, Buffalo is kind of gimmicky to a certain degree. It's like Josh Allen can be really hit or miss, and it's like when he's on, but when he's off, it looks really bad. And their running back group, you know what I mean? It's fine. Mike Singletary's his son, I believe.
And they signed Latavius Murray as well as a bigger back.
Yeah,
we all know Latavius Murray is always going to be a secondary back. He's not going to be a starter.
He's not going to be a starter. You got Dawson Knox and tight end. You got your wide receiver room kind of set with Vincent and freaking Diggs. So, I mean, we'll just see. We'll see what they do. If they can protect Josh Allen, he can just stay away from them, the ugly games, because he's prone to have a few ugly games a year where it's like, who the hell is this guy? Like, what is he doing out here? Like, but his running ability, it kind of plays into that as well too, because he's a very underrated runner. You feel me? Right. By the football, as far as moving the chains and just being aggressive in that fashion. But we'll see with Buffalo. I've never been too high on Buffalo.
I haven't either. I just feel like they're a little overrated because of the
slightly
that they're in the AFC.
For sure. They get propped up with some of those wins. You played the Jets before Aaron Rodgers, and then you still get Miami twice a year and New England. Their shit show at this point is like they could be propped up a little bit. That's 6 guaranteed wins if you really ask me. But shit, you splitting with the Jets, and it just look ugly sometimes.
Yeah.
It
Number
can look
2 is
ugly,
the
man.
Philadelphia Eagles. This is a no-brainer for me.
Number
Because you
2,
already
yeah,
know
number 2.
the Kansas City
No,
Chiefs is going to be number 1.
yeah, you got Mahomes there, number 1. The Chiefs, I mean, the Eagles being number 2. I'm not mad at it. You know, they have the wide receiver room. They got the tight end group is elite. Their offensive line protects, and they can run the ball, and they can pass block for Hurts.
And you add
You know,
DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penning to the running back core after
yeah.
losing
So
Miles Sanders. So
yeah,
you just
you just
reloaded
retool.
on
You just
offense when it
retool.
comes to
Yeah,
the running back position.
yeah. That's basically all it was. Like they're. I mean, offensively, you know what I mean. They're going to be fine. They're gonna be fine. As long as he continues to look for AJ Brown and make sure AJ Brown is included in the offense, then it's like everything else will continue to open
Everything
up.
falls into place.
Everything falls into place when you have a true number 1 at the end of the day. You got somebody that can't really be guarded or has to be guarded a specific way with double teams and certain coverages. Like the rest of the offense just becomes easy. And his Jalen Hurts running ability, his continued growth, you know what I mean, as a passer, you feel me, is just going to be key for that team. So I mean, hey, I ain't mad at the top 2. I think
Yeah,
Dallas, like I said, I
I ain't
think
mad at
Dallas
that
is a
either.
little high. I think Dallas is a little high, like you said. Dallas might be. I think Dallas personally is a little too high.
Yeah, Dallas, I think the
Dallas,
only one that's a bit too high in my opinion.
yeah.
And I think the Chargers are a little bit too low.
Yeah, the Chargers are a little too low at number 9. Eight.
I'm like
Chargers were 8.
because the Ravens is at 8, Chargers.
No, the Chargers at 9. Yeah.
Yeah, Chargers at 9, Ravens at 8. Let me just go back to it real quick. I had to
Seahawks
had
at
a text
7.
message.
I
So
think the Seahawks was 7.
Seahawks was 7, but I'm trying to figure out who was that number 10 squad. So that 10 squad was the New York Jets, 9 Chargers, 8 Ravens, 7 Seattle, 6 the 49ers, 5 Dallas, 4 the Bengals, 3 Bills, 2 Eagles, 1 Kansas City
Yeah,
Chiefs.
I think that now that I think about it, I think the Jets should be swapped out for the Lions. The Lions actually showed what they could. We don't know what the Jets are going to do. We have this vision of what Aaron Rodgers can do with, you know what I mean, Elijah Moore and some of these other young receivers. And, you know what I mean? Hopefully they get their running back. Hopefully Breece Hall comes back healthy, and hopefully, you know what I mean, a few other things shake out for their offensive line. But I just think that Detroit, you feel me? Detroit is building something that looks like it can be realistic consistently, you feel me, for them, offensively and defensively. Like we'll get to see this year because they have about like 5-6 primetime games. So we'll really get to see Detroit in the limelight and really see what they're really all about.
They got the first primetime game against the Kansas City
Yeah,
Chiefs.
yeah.
Let's
So
see.
we'll
Listen, if they lose that first game, but they
if they
make a
look good,
statement.
yeah, if they look good, then it's like look out. Like I called Detroit's gonna. You called it. Detroit's gonna win that division easily. They're gonna win that division easily. It's not. It should be easy. Like I don't see the Vikings.
It should be the Vikings division to win if you look at it on paper. But
as far as but I think that Detroit is moving in the right direction. They should win that division. They should win it easily.
They should win the division. Absolutely, absolutely. And just to throw the last thing out there, the San Francisco 49ers look like they're going to get approved to host Super Bowl 60 because I think we're hosting Super Bowl 59 if I'm not mistaken in the Allegiant Stadium. I'm not too sure if that's true or not, but I don't want to be mistaken. But it has came up that their Levi Stadium going to be hosting Super Bowl 60, which I think since that's going to be a monumental moment of having 60 years of the Super Bowl. I think we should be on the West Coast, but I think we should bring it back to the East Coast some way somehow.
60 years. I mean, maybe they're waiting for the bicentennial or something like that to put it in a real good spot. It's like, where was the first Super Bowl held? I think the first Super Bowl was held in Miami or something like that.
I know. I think it. Well, I wouldn't say Miami, but I think Super Bowl 2 and 3, they was in the cold, like the frozen tundra and stuff like that. So it was in the cold. I mean, we need to go back to cold Super Bowls, but I get it. It's a whole event. It's a whole extravaganza.
Yeah, so you don't want it to be too cold,
right? So you gotta. Say if they had it in Philadelphia or some shit like that, it's gonna be cold around that time. It's not gonna happen.
It's gonna be too cold.
Only way that's gonna happen if they had a dome.
It's not too many dome teams on the East Coast either. So it's like, where would you put it at as far as East Coast, like a dome team?
The closest to the East Coast is probably. The South is like kind of close to the East Coast too. You can have it. You can have it in New Orleans.
Yeah, when we keep doing, they keep. Well, why not? Well, they had it in Detroit.
I mean, they had it in Detroit before, but I think the last time they
Yeah.
was in Detroit is when Jerome Bettis retired. Then the Steelers won it on Ford Field.
Oh no, she said the first Super Bowl was in LA. Got my assistant right here. She said the first Super Bowl was in LA. Shit. Well, I mean that makes okay, it's going back. It's the Levi Stadium, so I mean California, it makes sense in the sense like they'll try to play it up to that. Like, oh yeah, the first Super Bowl was here in California. We coming back for the 60th Super Bowl. And it's like, okay, 60 years makes sense, but what about the 100? That's what I'm hopefully we get to see that. You know what I mean? But
yeah, right.
I just think that.
Listen, my thing is this though. They can have a Super Bowl on the East Coast. Cause think about it. Next year, WrestleMania is gonna be in Philadelphia. And it usually be cold around that time they have WrestleMania. And that's gonna be
Yeah, but they're
field.
still inside though. Oh, they're gonna do it at the financial field.
They doing that
WrestleMania?
financial field next year.
How the fuck is that gonna work?
Oh, trust me. It is a 2-night event.
Out in the cold?
It's a 2-night. Listen, it's gonna be people coming across the world going to WrestleMania. If they can do it, Super Bowl can do it too.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a Super Bowl in New Jersey in Giant Stadium, didn't they?
Yeah. It was a mess. It was a mess.
It rained. It rained.
It was a mess. Yeah, it rained real bad.
It rained real bad. I see why they didn't want to go back to New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the weather on the East Coast is just too unpredictable around that time of year. Like you may get some nice sunny days, about 50, 60 degrees, but you can get hella rain, you can get a motherfucking a windstorm, wind typhoon and shit. It's like, bro, you don't know what the hell you're gonna get in the wintertime, especially when you get close to that water on the East Coast.
Well, 49ers, I know my brother's a 49ers fan, and I know he's happy about that. So unfortunately, brother, you're getting your Super Bowl. I think we're hosting it this year, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna try to get to Allegiant Stadium before the Super Bowl because I'm not paying those Super Bowl tickets. You know how much the tickets be costing? Like $2,000-$3,000. I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
I ain't got
I'm good on the Super Bowl tickets, bro.
Right, I ain't got it. I'd rather pay nosebleeds for WrestleMania and spend like $300-$400 and then spend like $2,000-$3,000. I'll do that.
Man, even the nosebleeds can be ridiculous at some of these stadiums. Like I paid for nosebleed seats at the Ravens, and it was probably about like $150 a seat. It wasn't too bad, but it's still like, god damn, we all up here at the tip top.
Yeah, you look at it like a bunch of ants. They're like a bunch of ants down there.
Like we can't do this again. We got a nice little video monitor in Baltimore, but still, it's like shit. We can't. I told my bro we couldn't do this again. We had to get a little bit closer for that next game.
Yeah, I gotta go on the road. Unfortunately, I gotta go on the road to see my Raiders games, man. The closest game I probably have to go to this year is probably Indianapolis. That's the closest they get to me. Or the Miami game. They're the only two places. Well, Chicago, but I ain't going to Chicago because that's going to be cold around the time they go there. So, no.
Right.
I'm going to Indianapolis because it's indoors, and I'm going to Miami because it's warm. So I'm going to try to go to at least 3 games this year. At least 3.
Right.
If Vegas flights is cheaper around the time that I want to go, then I might just go to a Las Vegas Raiders game at home. But
you know the cheap way to get there, but if you value your life, you wouldn't fly Spirit. Not one day anymore.
You know what though people say about Spirit though? I never had an issue with Spirit. I flew Spirit multiple times to Florida and had no issue.
I mean, that ain't too bad because you coming from Philly to Florida. That's really like a straight shot. Now you talking about going to Vegas? That's a little bit. Much.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get like American Airlines or Delta or some shit.
It's crossing too many states. You crossing too many states. I seen a video where the guy they was duct taping the damn wing as the people was on the flight ready to take off.
Oh my god!
Fucking Spirit out there, out there with this silver duct taping the damn wing up. Like what the hell is going on? I would never fly Spirit a day in my life. Not to go nowhere long distance across too many states. No, sorry, not sorry. sorry, not sorry. I'm not in my life.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this because you wasn't on earlier today, and I mentioned about what Erik Spoelstra said about the playing is the best thing that happened to the NBA in the last decade, and I have to agree because let's be honest here, and I want to be completely honest here. If the Lakers in Miami did not have a play-in, we'll be sitting home. We both would be sitting home.
I mean, we were the 7th. If it wasn't the play-in, we were the 7th seed, so we would technically be in the playoffs. What was Miami? Where did Miami finish? 8th?
They finished 10th, and they
Oh yeah,
lost.
Miami. Yeah,
They
Miami
lost
wouldn't
to.
be in. We would be
They,
in. We were the 7th
they
seed.
lost to. They lost to Atlanta, and they made Atlanta the 7th seed, and then they had to go beat
No,
Chicago to get
so
the 8th seed.
they had to be either 7th or 8th. Then Miami had to be, because if you were 9th or 10th, you only got to play one game, and if you lost that game, it was a wrap. So they had to be 7th or 8th. They were
See,
set. They
that's
were
what I was kind of
8th.
confused of, because I think they was like the 10th or the 9th or the 10th seed or something like that. I don't know how that works. I don't know
No,
how
because
it works.
they had. That's what I'm saying. They had to be the 9th or the 10th seed if they won 2 games to get in. They didn't
No,
lose the first game.
They lost their
Okay,
first game. They
then
lost
they
their
had to be
first game, and
8th.
then they had to play. They had to play Chicago,
Right. So they were either 8th or 7th. Because the first game you
or
had,
they
you
was
either won the.
9th.
No, if you were 9th, then you played the 10th seed, and whoever won out of that got to move on. Whoever lost didn't. They were eliminated. They had to be 7th or 8th. The 7th 8th seed matchup was Atlanta and them, and if they won, Atlanta
They'll
won,
be
they
in.
became the 7th seed, and they played
Right,
Boston. And Boston lost, so they had to play the winner of Chicago and Toronto, and Chicago beat Toronto.
right.
Chicago
And then
beat
so
Toronto, and then
and
they
then
turned around and lost to Miami.
right.
So y'all would have still been in without a play-in. Y'all would have been like the 8th seed. Y'all would have been the 8th seed. So y'all would have still been in without a play-in. But I think it just brings more intrigue. It brings more teams. You know what I mean? Especially like around that area, about 9th and 10th. In both conferences, they have shown over the past few years that it's been a little bit more competitive at the bottom. So it's like you give those teams that are a little bit more scrappy, still fighting for some shit, like a chance to just keep playing. It brings more intrigue to the end of the season. It just makes those games a little bit more interesting, honestly. It's more revenue. It brings out a lot. It's more competitive. I like it. You feel me?
I kind of like it too, because you finally get to see those teams that's competing from the 10th seed to the 9th seed. They're coming out, and they're actually competing for a spot to be in a play-in or be in the playoffs. So
Right.
it gives other teams hope. Like, listen, I could get into the round of 16 with these NBA teams that's already been elite all year. Why not?
Yeah.
I
Why
really want to
not?
compete with them too, you know. So I
Why
feel like
not?
Adam Silver did a smart thing keeping the play-in, because they was trying to get rid of it. A lot of
No,
people
keep the
hated it.
play in. Keep the play in. Keep the play in. I think a lot of people hated it because, you know, I think that because that some teams, you feel me, they still didn't go all out at the end of the season. They felt like it added a little bit more too much fluff to the end of the year. And I think a lot of the teams that were in 7th and 8th, you feel me, the cutoff line is probably what made it a little bit more like 7th, 8th seed may be a little too high of a cutoff line, but it's been working out. Like you know what I mean? Because that's in. That's in to me. You're the 7th seed. You're practically in. Like the
Yeah.
Lakers were the 5th seed and then dropped to the 7th, the 8th seed. I think it was 7th seed. So you know what I mean? Give a game or two, you may. But like I said, it adds more intrigue to the end of the year. It's like if you don't play up to snuff, you may drop from 5th seed to 7th, 8th seed, and you got to fight your way to get in. So it's like
And then you can't be comfortable not resting your starters and
right.
none of that. So it makes it more competition.
That's going to build the league back up, because I think the league has taken a hit over these past few years between the Black Lives Matter shit. You feel me? And then just the overall just player empowerment, player rest movement. You feel me? You know what I mean? Taking games off and shit like that. That whole movement has just been like, it's been detrimental to the game as far as the value of the game, the product that they put on the court sometimes. Because some nights, like I say, on a random Tuesday, you may see a bunch of dudes that you may not see again the whole season. Like or some dudes that you may not even knew were even in the league. Like, who the hell is this guy? Where the hell he been there? I ain't seen him in 2-3 years.
Right. And then you have them go and play in the play-in, and then you be like, oh damn, he's doing his damn thing in the play-in to try to get him and his team and get in a playoff run. So
Right.
So some players that we saw, I can't lie, some players that we saw in this playoff actually rose up. Like, we know Hachimura, we really saw him in Washington. We already know what he could do, but he kind of rolled his game up, you know, after being traded. being consistent in these playoffs. You've seen a De'Aaron Fox. We already knew what this guy can do, but on the bigger stages, we know what he can do now. So you have younger guys coming up and making their runs, not just because of the play-in, but just in general. Like if we just look at the whole playoff itself, it's a lot of young players are taking over. I mean, Curry's going to get his, LeBron's going to get his, AD's going to get his. We already know that, but we see younger players step up in these playoffs and compete because they've been down at the bottom. They've been there before, and now they're coming up and then bringing in the play-in to bring more younger guys in. I think it's
like you say, the whole playoffs is just showing that, you feel me, there's a lot of competition out there. The top heaviness of the league is not as it once was, but I think that the final four is basically showing like the cream of the crop at the end of the day. It's showing the cream of the crop, and it's like these games are going to be competitive. These games are going to be some good games. I know I had it in 5. I had the Lakers in 5, but hey man, it's going to be a good series. It's the Final Four. Your last 2 teams in the conference. It should be a battle. So it's like, it is what it is.
That's what I was trying to convince you to say, bro.
No, I mean it's the same. I was thinking the same thing, but I'm still confident in my team. Like 5, 8. I'm ballsy enough to say it. Take them in 5. We should be up 2-0. We should be up 2-0. We should be up 1. It should be 1-1. I wouldn't say up 2-0. It should be 1-1. After last night's game, that was a travesty. It should be 1-1. We had that game.
I know you was pissed at the piss poor defense in the fourth. I know you was
I'm
mad.
just like, what? And I wasn't necessarily pissed about the defense in the fourth because the simple fact that they were scoring was what it was. But it's like, you contested, your hand there, you're there. All right, you can't really be too mad. He hit the shot. It's just like, God damn, he just hit another one. Our offense is what pissed me off in the fourth. It's just like, LeBron, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you shooting these threes? Why are you relying?
You can get to the cup at will. Like
you can get to the cup at will. Is nobody stopping you when you get to the cup? You just have to make the layup, LeBron. You have to hold on to LeBron for your freak show layups, your freak show dunk contest runways and shit. You have to complete the plays, bro. If he makes this layup at the end, it's a 2-point game, then we seeing something different. But it was a shit show at the end of the day. It was a shit show, bro.
But man, it's today is Friday, man. 25th episode of the Darion Hopkins Show is in the books, man. Make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. We will be back on Monday with all the weekend festivities from WNBA, NBA, probably some NFL news. College football's coming around the corner. So it's going to be a lot of stuff coming down, man. It's going to be really fun to see how these Eastern and Western Conference Finals games are going to go after this weekend. And we definitely going to see, like I said, at the game 3s, we're going to see who's going to take what now, because I can't. I did listen. I'm still going to pick my Heat, but this Nuggets and Lakers game, I know that's going to be something that I'm gonna have to rethink my predictions. Like, it's gonna be really tough. It's gonna be tough, but hey, you just never know.
We have to win.
At the game
we have to win. We have to hold serve at home. We have to hold serve at home and take another crack at it in Denver in game 5. We need to win these 2 games. It's obvious. We need to win one of these 2 games, but we need to win both of these 2 games.
Right.
And the first one is the one that's most critical because you can't go down 3-0. You go down 3-0, the psychological effect of that is almost impossible to recover from. Exactly. I don't care who you are.
Exactly. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Darion Hopkins Show, man. I'll be live tonight for Boston and Miami game 2. Heat coaches in the building. Butler, let's get it done. The team, let's get it done. Let's go up 2-0. Let's go to Miami. And I'm going to talk my talk. And I'll be like, Mac, where you at, bro? Where you at? It's like, look, I like to talk my smack.
Got you. Good, when you get one up, you got to talk your shit.
Yeah, I gotta talk my shit if we up 2-0. I gotta talk my shit because he's gonna come on here steaming on Monday.
Yeah,
he's gonna be hot on Monday. And you know what?
2-0 at home, we on the road, so it's like, hey, they hold serve, but if y'all can't hold serve at home, then y'all going to Miami. That's gonna get ugly.
All I'm gonna say is 11-11 in the last 22 games for Boston. And like I told Mac, y'all better off playing away than y'all playing home. I don't know why it should be like that, but y'all better off playing away.
Yeah.
Because if y'all lose game 2, and y'all know how Miami gets down when they in Miami, they make everything there. They make everything there. But hey, it's gonna be a good game tonight. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see y'all Monday, man. Happy Friday to everybody. And make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure y'all listen to the audio podcasts. All the links are in the description as well. Darion Hopkins Show, man. We see y'all on Monday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. See y'all tonight as well. Peace out.